Hi everyone, my name is John Dickinson. This is my final project for CSCIE-33A web programming with Python and JavaScript. So I just want to do a quick demo of my project just because not everyone plays poker. They may not necessarily understand the mechanics of the game. So I'll kind of walk through some things, show some functionality in the project, maybe answer some questions you might have, especially if you're going through it getting set up. So what we have right here is just a completely blank setup right now, as if we just downloaded the pokerTable app that I created from, say, GitHub. It has a dependency of this library called Deuces, which is a hand evaluator. Basically, just evaluates the various different hands of various different poker hands that are in play, and then it figures out a score for that particular hand, and then the lowest score wins the hand. I did not write this. This was something I found on the internet. A guy put out there with a open source license. You cannot pip install it because it's not compatible with Python 3. So I guess if you're using Python 2, you could pip install it. But what I did do is include with my submission the updated Python 3 version, which I went in and updated. So that is there. It'll be right here in the submission. You can just take this and then install and copy it over into where your Python dependencies are, and then you should be able to run it. So we're just doing a regular blank setup here. So we need to do a few things. We need to make our migrations. Great. We need to migrate. We need to just create a super user just in case. This is the web app has accessibility to the admin page for Django, so you create a super user and then you can access all the various different database information. Okay, so then we run the server. Now, with fingers crossed, we reload this. Okay, it's up. So this is the app. What you're looking at right now is just a blank poker table. They have 8 different seats various different people can sit at. You're going to have poker cards running across the middle here as hands are going on. So essentially, the first person to log in and sit down at the seat will become the dealer. Basically creates a table object. The point is of that is of kind of how this project came up is to give the people who are playing a little bit more flexibility. If you want to play in like a group with your friends, where you don't want to have things totally 100% automated, you might want to have a little bit more time in between hands or give people to think about what's going on, things of that nature, and that kind of gives you that that functionality. So what you can do is I just log in from this site. There I am. I sit. Now I'm at the table. So to simulate this, we're going to use private windows so that we can get different users in here. When you're using this in an actual production environment on a server, then everybody's going to be having their own windows and you're not going to be switching back and forth, obviously. But this for demonstrations will be hopefully good enough. Okay, and now we're going to sit. Okay, so now we've got 2 players seated. We've got Yoda and myself, and now we're going to re-deal some cards. And as you'll see in a second, so on Yoda's side of things, everything's up and running. Here, this is a one-time thing in the beginning where we haven't given the web application really the ability, or we aren't allowing it to communicate with the server until there's at least two people and a hand dealt. So you kind of have to just you click that read deal, and that will sort of kick the process off. That just happens the first time you've ever created the table. So even if you go and log out of this and shut it down, as long as you don't delete the database, this little timing issue will never happen again. So it's just pretty much a one-off thing. Um, so yeah, basically, so this is kind of the layout. So you have the dealer view now that you've sat down, or now that John has sat down to be the first person. Now he has the dealer view, so he's in charge of redealing cards, the flop, turn, river. These are board cards, ending the hand, folding a player, or checking a player. These are all automated for you. Flopping the flop cards, the turn card, the river card, and ending a hand. That's all automated. These are here to just kind of let you sort of do things that are sort of like a god mode, if you will. If you kind of want to, let's say a hand ended early and you wanted to see the rest of the cards turned out, you could do that. If you wanted to end a hand early, you could do that. Kind of some situations that just friendly players that you're playing with might want to see. You can fold a player who is in the action position who's not responding, and you can check a player who's in the action position who may not be responding, or who has asked you to do that for him. If they don't have to put a bet up, then they can check. So we can walk through now how sort of this works. So I'm the small blind, which means I'm first to go here in this instance. So I'm calling Yoda. He's going to check because he's big blind. You see the cards flip right out. Then they flip back out over here. This works by the browser is polling the server every 5 seconds to get information from the server regarding what's allowed to be displayed. That works by using the backend models in Python and just regular different the views.py for Python to make decisions of what information to send over to the web browser. So the server decides which objects are supposed to be displayed at what point based off of the progress of the game, and then sends those objects and makes them available for display. So that is the design I chose at this point. Later down the road, something sort of outside the scope of this class and what I've been doing lately. You can create, I think, a WebSocket to actually have the whole thing like have a continuous flow of information and not have to continuously poll the server. Like you would definitely want in this instance to have some kind of blocking mechanism set up so that you can go to sleep until the server tells you to wake up and process information. But that's a little over my head right now, so that's kind of a future project to make the functionality of this bit better. So we now see the flop that automatically came out. These are my cards. I'm going to check because I have nothing. This is just for demonstration anyway. Yoda, he has a better hand than me, but not really by much. Well, actually, I guess it is significantly better, but we'll just check as well to see next card flop out. I'll bet 500. I'll just kind of show you the mechanics of this. His call amount, once the browser polls the server, it tells him how much he needs to call. Or you could try and bet, but it's going to tell you that there's no bet amount in there. First of all, even if you tried to bet less than whatever the call amount is, it's not going to work. You can't check out of hand. And the same with folding. So the option we have here is 500. We could fold, but we would fold the hand. And for these purposes, I don't really want to. I just kind of want to run this whole thing through. So now we've got the end here. The last card. There's $1,200 in the pot. I'm gonna check. Send it over to Yoda. He'll check, and the pot's processed. Yoda wins. There was 1,200 in the pot. 600 from me. 600 from him. He wins the main pot of 1,200, which is 600 for him. An additional 600 for me from the 600 he won from me. And you can see it over here as well. And then if you wanted to play another hand, you just press redeal. New cards come out. Same process. And this is, we can see this mobily here, the mobile view. So you could log in if you wanted to. you can register. You can just go back to the beginning, and you can. This will update in real time. So sections on Yoda. So we're gonna bet 50. I'm gonna check, and there you go. We see the cards come out on the mobile view. So that's pretty much my project. So I just wanted to kind of, like I said, give a demo so we can take a look at some functionality and the various different things you could do. And it's very, it was a lot of work, and I hope that, I hope that you guys are going to enjoy playing around with this app. If there's any issues at all whatsoever, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm going to have more details in my README regarding like the dependencies and stuff like that. It's really just it's two folders that need to be copied over into wherever your Python dependencies are stored. You can use pip if you used pip before to install a different package. You can do like pip show whatever that package name is, and that will show you the path of where your dependencies are. And like I said before, that you're not going to be able to use pip to install deuces if you have Python 3, because it's just the pip install for that is not Python 3 compatible. So you'll have to copy over the files from the directory. Other than that, that is all, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how I did. Thank you. Bye.